You have 15. Perfect. I'm going to do the same. Alrighty. Whenever you're ready, you can take it away. Thanks, Jessica.
Awesome. Hi, Ryan. Nice to see you.
Hey, Jessica, how are you?
I am doing great, and I saw the film and loved it. And I have a lot of questions. I want to pick your brain about this movie.
Please, that's what I'm here for.
So the first thing is, I was blown away by how much work Ivan Sin had done for this film. I mean, he other than being in the movie, he pretty much was the movie. And I wanted to talk to you about working together with him. You've done so prior, but also what was the process like with working with him on this film in terms of did you create a story for Jack history yourself, or did you work together on one with him?
Yeah, this has been permeating in Ivan for over a decade now. Ivan and I first worked together on a movie called Mystery Road close to 10 years ago, and we hit it off like a house on fire then. There's just a deep love of nature and the power of nature that we both sort of share. Ivan being an Indigenous Australian, most of his films were about the desert and Indigenous stories around the desert. But this was the first time that he felt the need, because he saw even 10 years ago sort of where we were headed as a species. And I think he wanted, from an Indigenous perspective, to sort of highlight our misgivings and our wrongdoings and perhaps get us back on track. And I saw that very early in the way that he pitched it to me 10 years ago. And then when the script finally came to fruition about 6-7 years ago, it was all on the paper, and I knew that this was sort of something that was going to be a really tough piece of work for me to go to, but it needed to be had. It was a hell of a ride. I'm glad I did it.
Well, and in your performance as Jack it was the whole film. It was quiet, but but you knew when you were speaking, it was an important piece of dialogue, because your character was the type of guy, he wasn't used to speaking, and when he did, it was sort of like letting down a shield, which was a really interesting way to play it.
That was a lovely insight, Jessica. Yeah, that was something we did talk about at length, as to this is a man that's not used to vocalizing at all. And particularly when he meets April, and there's something else, there's a chemical reaction that happens inside of him that's also affecting the way that he's talking. We sort of go into that in the movie, but basically the one thing that's kind of makes him feel most alive is also the only thing that's killing him, and that's love. And yeah, I think it's great to sort of have that huskiness to his voice, that it's almost tough to get the words out, to fully articulate it.
Well, and that was one thing I really liked, was even within the karaoke bar, for instance, it's a separation. They even can't see their patrons. They can't, you can't touch, you're not supposed to.
Yep.
And it's like we've, at this point, and we can see it within our own world, especially like right now, for example, where I'm having to do this with you over a camera. And it takes away a bit of the humanity, but it's also just relevant in how we've kind of distanced ourselves away from each other. Even before COVID or what have you, we are on our way to making things more I don't want to say non-human, but it's impersonal and separate. And this guy is sadly encapsulates all of that. He can't make a human connection because it will kill him. And I really like that take.
Yeah, again, it's a beautiful, you're hitting things that really do truly mean a lot to both myself and Ivan, everyone involved in this film. Like, there's this need to invest in the human condition that we're not doing these days our level of investment into technology is far outweighing our level of investment into humanity. And that's something that, this film tries to highlight, and it does it in a very unique way. You're sort of highlighting a nightclub singer and an assassin, two sort of versions of humanity that you wouldn't think represent us. But the way that this story is pitched, and because it is in that sci-fi realm, you can let your imagination take you to those places and answer those questions in a way that necessarily doesn't seem as confronting as it would if it was a straight drama.
Well, and also I liked the fact that going into this, you're thinking, okay, it's going to be one of those movies. He's an assassin. She's a beautiful girl who, there's going to be gunplay and all of this, but it's not. It's the human aspect of it. You completely flip it on its head and make it this interpersonal story about these two people that are in a world that, we think we look into it as this, it's going to be like this neo-noir, epic center of city. And it's not. It's a very personal story about these two and how they're trying to connect, and they're two people that have never connected before. But if anyone, and if they do, this a person that makes them feel whole, they die, or at least you will. And it's such a neat take. And I really like that. And I like the focus and how it was played. And you did such a great job with the character, with just playing with your eyes. That was what you had to deal with.
Thank you. There was that, for me, what attracted me to it continuously was the fact that this wasn't a solo story. This wasn't a male-driven story. It's very much a male and female perspective of love, and it shouldn't be anything less. It takes two to fall in love, and if you're going to tell a love story, then it better come from both angles.
Well, and one thing is this, like I was saying, this movie seems to be, it takes aspects of films like Blade Runner, and I see a little bit of Nick Ruffin in there as well with the visuals. What did you it sounds like you've given a little bit of insight into this, but within the script, what attracted you to it? What really grasped you in there?
Oh, can I read you something?
Sure.
So this is the first time that I reread the script in preparation for these interviews today, and I sort of discovered the first time in my head. I remember reading it, and I was like, this is where he begins to feel the first seed of love. So I'll read you this.
This is great.
Jack looks back in stunned silence as April continues to sing. We move closer into Jack's eyes. Jack is mesmerized by the performance. April moves towards the glass as she sings. We move even closer into Jack's eyes. Atmospheric lights begin to flash and fade behind April. The flickering lights hit Jack from behind the glass. Jack watches April. He slowly feels a chemical reaction within his body. April's last words fade away. The music stops. Jack is silent.
Yep. That will do it.
It was those kind of, when you're getting that level of emotion into those words. For me, it was the breaths and what's not said in this movie that lets the audience kind of fill in the gaps. That's where we're hoping that the true power of this movie sort of comes through.
That's beautiful. And again, doing it as it's so quiet, but you don't need the words because of what you said. You perform it with your eyes, you perform it with your face and actions, and it comes across beautifully.
Thank you. Yeah, that truly means a lot. Thank you.
So this would be considered sort of a cyberpunk film in one way, with the technology aspect in there, the visual aspect of it. I wanted to ask you about, I don't know how many films of that genre you've watched, but in this one speaks to giving up our humanity, as we've spoken about already, but in order to get to that next level to survive, can you talk about the evolution of that genre and how it really has kind of met us where we're at right now with the things that we're willing to give up to keep going?
Sure. Look, when this was first pitched to me close to 10 years ago, it was sci-fi. Now Ivan and I are calling it near-fi. Yeah, this is a world that's within tangible grasp of us right now. You know, it's for those who are migrating to survive, living at the bottom of the food chain. Like it's a world of challenge, of realism. But you know, ultimately, we want it to be an optimistic fight as to where we're going and who we're becoming. I think that's the role of art, is to help us highlight, you know, our deeper sort of fallacies.
Well, and I think one of the things that may go under the radar in this, because it's so subtle, is Hugo Weaving's character. And the way they never really speak out to who the gentleman in the tank is. And I don't want to do spoilers here. I'm just saying gentleman in the tank. You don't know anything yet if you've seen the movie. But what happens with his character and his decision for that is, you know, it's talking about loss and letting go too. And that's kind of snuck in there. And it's a beautiful metaphor for humanity as well. Like how we will try anything to hold on to. And when we have memory that's still going to always be with us, we need to let go of certain things. And you know, there's so much in this film that's like that and just beautifully told in such a compacted frame. It was just amazing how much you got in there.
Yeah, that notion of mortality is something that I really do feel like we need to be reminded of as well. And you know, that deeper question of, well, would you want to live forever if you had to live without love? I think is something that is resonant here, and it goes back to that the couple of scenes that you're talking about with Hugo and the gentleman in the
tank.
The tank. That loss is something that you know, I also think we're kind of shying away from in society. You know, we're putting so much value into things that are truly valueless to us. You know, what means most are the things that sort of inspire us, other people, the human connection, the ability to kind of evolve as opposed to get sort of ground down to technology.
Exactly. Well, Ryan, I know I'm about to lose you. I just wanted to say thank you for making this film. Thank you for Jason Stackhouse, by the way. Just have to get that out there.
Thank you, Jessica.
But you're fantastic in this, and I can't wait to see what you guys do next. And stay safe. Thank you again.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for the interview. Thank you for taking the time to watch it.
Oh, no worries, sir. Thank you so much. You have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.